Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into this incredible story, a journey that was supposed to be super simple, but then bam, it gets totally flipped on its head by a life-threatening plot. It's a story about the Apostle Paul, and it shows how sometimes a huge, dangerous setback can actually become, well, a divine setup. Let's get into it. So let's start with this question. What happens after a mission succeeds? I mean, think about it. We get all hyped up about the big launch, right? The exciting beginning. But the real work, the stuff that makes things last, that often happens after all the confetti is settled. It's maybe not as glamorous, but man, is it essential. And that's exactly the situation we find the Apostle Paul in. You see, after this massive riot in Ephesus, his whole mission kind of shifts gears. He's not just running around planting new churches anymore. Nope. He's moving into this phase of what we call consolidation. It's like a gardener going back to water and weed, making sure the plants he's already put in the ground are strong and healthy. So, Paul very deliberately starts retracing his steps. He's going back through Macedonia and Greece, hitting up cities like Philippi, Thessalonica, and Corinth again, and his goal, like it says right there in Acts 20, was pretty simple: encouragement. This wasn't some kind of victory lap, you know? This was a pastor on a mission, making sure the faith of these brand new believers was going to be tough enough to survive whatever came next. Okay, so after about 3 months of doing this really important work in Greece, the plan was supposed to be super straightforward. Just hop on a boat, sail directed to Syria, and then head down to Jerusalem to drop off this big relief offering they'd collected. You know, fastest, most logical route, easy peasy. But just as he's about to set sail, everything changes. He gets word that a plot against his life has been discovered. An ambush, most likely, was waiting for him on that very ship. And just like that, the most direct path becomes the most dangerous one. He's got to scrap the whole plan. So you've basically got this choice, right? A tale of two journeys. The sea route, super fast, direct, but also probably fatal. The land route, which meant going all the way back through Macedonia. It was way slower, totally indirect, but it was safer. And, as we're about to see, it opened up a whole new set of possibilities he never saw coming. And this is really the heart of the matter, isn't it? You're looking at a life-threatening plot, a complete disruption of a really solid plan. So what is this? Is it just a crisis that he has to gut out and survive? Or is something else going on here? Could it be what we might call a providential pivot? And here's the crazy paradox at the center of this whole story. The enemy's plot, which was designed to end Paul's ministry, actually ends up extending it. The setback became the setup. This forced detour wasn't a failure at all. It was this divinely guided chance to go back and pour even more encouragement into the very churches he'd just been with. Yeah, let's give this a name. A providential pivot. You know what I mean? It's that moment when a massive obstacle, something that looks like a total dead end, actually becomes the very road that leads to a better God-guided outcome. It's the Holy Spirit at work, not by, clearing the path, but by using the roadblock itself. So, what's the immediate results of this big pivot? Well, something pretty incredible starts to happen. As Paul starts traveling this new, totally unplanned route, this amazing A-team starts assembling around him. Just look at this crew from Acts 20, verse 4. You've got Sopater from Berea, Aristarchus and Secundus, they're from Thessalonica, Gaius from way back in Derbe, of course his trusted right-hand man Timothy, and then Tychicus and Trophimus representing the whole province of Asia. This is no random group of guys. This is a full-blown delegation. And why did this team matter so much? Well, for one, each person represented a different church, a different region. It was like a living, breathing picture of the unity of this growing movement. They were the embodiment of this idea that the mission was a team effort. And they were almost certainly traveling with Paul to help protect and deliver that big financial gift for the believers who were suffering in Jerusalem. Okay, now you've got to pay super close attention to this next part. It's a tiny little detail, but it has huge implications. In verse 5, the writer says the team went on ahead and was waiting for us. That one little word, us, it changes everything. See, that little word signals what scholars call a we passage. What does that mean? It means the author of the book of Acts, Luke, has personally rejoined Paul's group, probably in Philippi. So from this moment on, the story isn't just history he's researched. It's a direct, first-hand eyewitness account. And that gives incredible credibility and, honestly, a lot more detail to everything that's about to happen. All right, so this is a really fascinating story of resilience, of strategy, of divine guidance. But what does it have to do with us today? Let's break it down and see how the lessons from Paul's dangerous journey can kind of light the path for our own. You know, Paul's journey here really gives us a powerful 4-point playbook. First, nurture what you've planted. That work of strengthening and consolidating is just as important as starting something new. Second, adapt wisely when threats show up. Don't just try to power through. Sometimes you have to pivot. Third, assemble diverse teams. You can't do it alone. And finally, and this is the big one, learn to trust God's detours. If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Threats are going to come. Your plans are going to get messed up. But those things only redirect the mission. They can't stop it. God's purpose pushes through, not because our plans are perfect and uninterrupted, but through the small, faithful, adaptive steps we take right in the middle of all the chaos. And that really leaves us with a question to chew on for ourselves. Take a look at your own life right now. Is there a setback, a disruption, some kind of plot that's just thrown all your plans into the air? What if it's not just a crisis? Where might that very obstacle actually be a divine setup, getting you ready for a completely different and maybe even better journey?